Okay, well, this video is directed at unicorn heads, and this is my mem that I use, my diagram. This is a really good example of a unicorn head and what they look like and how they go through life. Even though it's not a unicorn, just imagine that a unicorn head, and I call them unicorn heads because they always are positive. They do not ever acknowledge anything negative within their environment or within their own experience or even within themselves. They will not face their own shadows. And they just continue to move through their experience in a very selfish way, believing that they are free spirits with no ties to anything, anybody, and that they are manifesting their own experience and that they are not actually influenced by anything else on a larger conscious level. And so these are the people that I call unicorn heads. And because they like to use that symbol of purity to hide behind, this is why I do use that term on them. And they really are no different. They have taken an icon, a sacred icon, which is the unicorn, which is attributed to the divine female and is sometimes even seen with the divine male, because you can see the unicorn in ancient symbolism and in the esoteric information connected with both Mary Magdalene and Jesus. But the unicorn is a symbol, an icon that certain groups of people have taken to hide behind. And these certain groups of people that have hidden behind this icon are basically the religious institution of the modern New Age. And so just as we have religious institutions that hide behind Christianity and religious institutions that hide behind Islam, we have religious institutions that hide behind esoteric information and use it to corrupt the original teachings and send people into the ditch, because people do not want to hear that they are accountable. This is the biggest threat to anybody discovering truth, is that the soul must be accountable for the soul's experience and for partaking in the experience of the Creator. So you must identify you are part of something larger and you are influenced by something larger, and you must humble yourself to that and understand that you have a responsibility due to being a soul and part of creation and part of the Creator, in which you are partaking in the Creator's experience. And so, because most people do not want to be accountable to being a good soul and always having to take the higher path, even though that is often the harder path, people would rather believe that they can be a free spirit and just manifest their own reality and meditate their way to enlightenment. And all of this they feel can be done externally, and they have processes they believe will help them, such as decalcifying their pineal gland, or stargazing, or meditating, which is the prayer of the Church of the New Age, of the religious institution that is the New Age. To them, their belief is that meditation is what will actually help a soul ascend and open the third eye and activate the pineal gland. And this belief is based on what their priests tell them. And there is no actual information that can be found to support this belief in any of the ancient knowledge, because the ancient knowledge shows that we are not only consciousness, which is what also unicorn heads want to actually believe, that we are all just one consciousness and it's all about elevating the whole consciousness to enlightened together. They have dismissed the fact that it is also about the heart and that we are souls. We have a ka soul as well as a ba part to our soul, consciousness, that is seated in our ka soul. So they have removed the ka soul from the New Age religion. The modern New Age religion has moved the ka soul, and they have only now left the information, half the truth, of the consciousness aspect. And so without people understanding that you are also a ethereal soul and you can be weighed with the light that your soul carries on an ethereal level, people just believe that they can do what they please and they are not actually responsible for anything that they do. And unfortunately, this is no different to the other religiotards that listen to the other organisations such as Christianity and Islam saying following priests' words and looking outwards and up to heaven is where you will find God, instead of telling them to look inside, which is where you will find God and where the unicorn heads will find their divinity, which they have actually turned their back on. Because when you turn your back on God, you turn your back on the divine nature within man. And this is why the unicorn heads can accept the alien storyline, because they do want to believe that there is a greatness outside of themselves that they can ride on the coattails of, that will help them. And the actual truth is that it's within mankind, and this has just been bred out of them, and the religious organisations have taught them that they are not worthy, that they are not worthy of being part of God. However, the New Age religious organisations have told them that they are too worthy and that they are gods. And so there has been a deception for every psychological mindset that they knew they would have to send into the ditch, to send them away from the truth of who they are, from stopping them from looking within and understanding it's all about being accountable within. And now they've followed the Antichrist too far down the path, and they're not willing to redeem themselves. This is what I see with unicorn heads in this group where they all tend to congregate, Earth We Are One, over in Facebook. Now, I wouldn't really care, yet Earth We Are One have got about 90,000 people in that Facebook group. So this is a large facet of the hive mind that believes this information about DMT and enlightenment, and that's the way you're going to activate your pineal gland, and that's the way to finding some enlightening experience or ascending. They do not understand that ascension happens through the heart. It's judgment of the heart, because you are part of creation, and when that time comes again and the light returns and it's time for all the souls to once again rejoin with Source from whence they came, when they move back up to that Source, they can be weighed on their experiences as a soul that they've been incarnated in for the last great year. That's the part of ascension that the unicorn heads don't understand, and that the Christian religiotards don't understand about rapture. The priest cannot grant you entry into heaven, religiotards. It's solely on what's written in your heart. This is what Thoth is also transcribing at the weighing of the heart ceremony. He is transcribing to Osiris everything that you have experienced through your incarnations over the great year. And so you are weighed on that. This is what the symbolism of Thoth, the scribe, and the weighing of the heart ceremony in ancient Egypt, cornerstone of their belief system, was the weighing of the heart ceremony. Yet we don't see these consciousness researchers talking about the weighing of the heart ceremony. We'll just leave that over there. We won't really talk about that. We'll just talk about the the consciousness, the consciousness. It's all about the consciousness. Yet the ancient Egyptians themselves very clearly state that there is a Ka soul. And so I don't understand why Graham Hancock, John Anthony West, and all of these researchers into ancient Egypt have difficulty understanding the Ka and the Ba, the concept of the Ka and the Ba, because anybody that goes and looks at the information can quite clearly see it. And so it is surprising that these ancient Egyptian researchers don't understand the concept of the Ka and the Ba. They want to also give the perception it's about the experience of the soul using psychedelics to reach enlightenment, so external processes. The influence of an alien factor also is starting to creep into their information, and they are having people look externally for who built the civilizations in Egypt, who designed these great pyramids with super technology, who could possibly have done that. And it was mankind, because the divinity is within mankind, the greatness is within mankind. So when mankind illuminates in the great year cycle, then mankind can actually create these magnificent civilizations. And again, I don't understand why Graham Hancock and John Anthony West don't actually just go and look at ancient Egyptian science, since they are ancient Egyptian researchers, and see that they believed in the principle of rhythm, the cycle. See that they believed in Zeptepi, the laws of correspondence, the mental universe, the all. It's all clearly relayed in the Hermetic information. So there need not be any mystery. The truth can be found if you actually go seek it out. It doesn't have to be a mystery. Like I see that these researchers like to give the perception that some things are just a mystery that you will never really understand. Well, I'm not saying you're going to understand everything about the universe, but you certainly can have an understanding for who you are as a soul and the cycles that you exist in, and that you are part of a creator and part of a great year cycle, and that at the end of that cycle there is a weighing of the heart that the ancient Egyptians speak of, and that everything is written in the heart. And this is where the threatening information starts to get the reaction from people that do not want to take responsibility for what is in their heart. They want to believe that they can just meditate and think their way through their existence, and whatever they think will manifest, and whatever they want will happen and occur. And they do not acknowledge any external influences in their experience. They do not actually acknowledge cause and effect, and how there is a macrocosm and a microcosm, and how there is a correspondence of the macrocosm on the microcosm, because the universe is fractal. And so these people just do not understand their place within the universe, and so this puts them into fear, and then they actually feel threatened and attack because they have to prove that their belief system is the right belief system, where all of the information is showing that it is not just about the mind, it is about the heart as well, and how you feel towards the universe and creation when you are weighed, not just what you think about the universe and creation, though that is an aspect of every soul. But you cannot discount the car, you cannot discount the heart when it is in all of the symbolism, even the icons in the religious symbolism with Christianity. And this is the part of these ancient philosophies that you can still actually find truth in the symbolism, because it's the words that the Antichrist corrupted and then told the flock, follow me, follow these words. And they've done the same with the unicorn heads in the New Age movement. Follow me, follow these words. And all you have are their words. You have no proof. You have just what they think and tell you, because you have not gone to seek out information. And so these people are really very insecure. They're very nasty. They exist completely on experience, and the experience of they exist completely on appearance. And their appearance is one of love and light and peace. However, you scratch the surface and they are very nasty, festering with lots of self-esteem issues and insecurities, and they will basically resort to very nasty behaviour. And they will be nice to you in front of others in discussions and debates, and then they will send you a nasty personal message away from others. And see, when you are a free spirit, when you're working through the heart, you don't need to actually work in a way that is manipulative. If you don't like someone, you just say you don't like them. This is how I live my life in truth. I know what truth is. Truth is living in alignment with the universe and creation. It's not destroying creation. It's not partaking in the destruction of creation and pretending it's not happening. It's not pretending that the meat industry isn't what it is and continuing to eat animals that have been tortured and suffering and then claim to be a conscious soul. This is not what truth is. Truth is identifying that at this time of the cycle it is quite a broken and sick world. However, we must take responsibility for that, exist within that, and we must defend what is left of what is good in the world. Not turn our back on that because it is all too hard, and then just go within our own mind and meditate and make our own experience. Because the mind is very powerful and can make their own experience, but eventually the external influences that the soul is governed by will have part of the soul's destiny and fate on that path, the same path. I mean, you will have to face larger influences at some stage. There is only a certain amount of time. You can just flow along and get away with the behaviour of pretending you can just manifest your own reality and ignore the pain and suffering and everything that is broken in this world. And this is what unicorn heads do. They just do not want to acknowledge it, and they believe because they are manifesting their own reality that they can manifest their way out of this negative reality just by meditating. And then they have meditating circles, and this is again just a belief. Just like Christian religiotards go and have prayer circles. It's no different, but they never really actually stand in their power and change anything, and so nothing ever changes because they keep it in their head and they are too scared to speak truth. And so this is why when you speak truth, you do not worry the reaction of people. You do not worry if people are offended. They are responsible for their own offence, their own emotional reaction to words. They are adults. And if they are emotionally reacting to words, then they are immature, consciously immature, to emotionally not be able to handle words. So this is the majority of the planet do find offence at everything, and unicorn heads wear it like a badge. And unicorn heads also wear ego like a weapon, and judgment. They use these like a weapon, and if you are having an opinion that differs from them, they will use, you are in your ego, you are being judgmental, and it's like a sin. It's the sin of the Church of the New Age unicorn head. The sin is ego and judgment. And this is just complete bullshit, because ego is just your identity, your bar, and so you're basically saying you don't have an essence, you don't have a identity when you are saying that you have to remove your ego. And this is where you can see that the Antichrist have manipulated the information and telling these people that they must kill their ego. And so the Antichrist have been actually indoctrinating them to believe they must kill their ba, their essence, which is what happens when you do not pass through into the new cycle. That is what is removed. Your ka is actually then basically returned to Atum, the galactic core, to be once again used for souls, for ka, but your ba is wiped from existence. This is what the ancient Egyptians also believed, and what these ancient Egyptian researchers do not discuss. Okay? So the Antichrist have been telling the New Age unicorn heads to remove the ego, remove the ba. Okay? Remove who you are, your essence. So no, not real smart, unicorn heads. You need some ego, you need an identity, you need to know who you are, but you just need balance with it. Like everything, just needs to be balanced, okay? You can't let it overtake your heart. That's the problem, okay? And so when you do not acknowledge that you have a heart, then that's actually something that can occur. And so this is why they must understand you have to acknowledge that you are a ka as well as a ba. But the modern New Age church of the unicorn head does not want to acknowledge the heart, does not want to acknowledge the soul. They just want to only exist in half the truth. And this is not going to actually be something that ends in a positive way for them when they come to the end of their experience within this creation throughout this last great year cycle. Because if you aren't aligned with creation, if you are turning your back on your creator and creation, if you are just believing that it's all about you and you are a free soul and you can just do what you want and ignore what you want, then the universe can weigh and measure you on that. I'm just relaying what the information's showing. I mean, I wasn't talking about this information when I first started seeking in 2011, and anybody can go back and look at where I started and watch how I unfolded all of the information from the very beginning and where I started, and how I actually then came to find the Philosopher's Stone and then put all the rest of the information together. So I am just actually using that knowledge that was left to us by the ancients, the esoteric information that the New Age church has corrupted. I'm just using that to have the truth and the true understanding of who we are as a soul. But the Church of the Unicorn Head just wants to continue corrupting the texts and doing what the religiotards are doing to the texts. And they are basically just not partaking in creation, not partaking in the experience, and enabling the destruction of creation and their creator. And so this is why I will address it in the Unicorn Heads, because you won't get away with your behaviour. And as I said, that Earth We Are One group has 90,000 people in that group that are all being influenced by this information, this incorrect information that just gives half of the story. And so this was a video directed at those who believe they are so enlightened and they are so egoless and non-judgmental. This video was done in full ego and full judgment of who you are as lost souls, disconnected from Mother Earth, disconnected from yourselves, disconnected from your Creator, and allowing evil to continue in our world because you do not want to acknowledge truth. Well, I have news for you. Truth is going to kick you up the arse in the end. And so take this video and use it as a educational tool, a learning tool. Okay? And learn from this video rather than just keep living in denial and pretending that you know everything. Well, I'll leave it there. And as always, peace out.